Okay, we've got Isaiah Johnson, Ian Inman. We'll go ahead and open up the questions.
Isaiah, you guys built a pretty big lead in the second half there, and they just kind of took it away. You guys got some stops at the end. Just kind of what have you guys learned over the last couple of weeks and months that kind of led to you guys getting some of the stops you need to at the end there?
I say what we learned is that every possession is valuable. Every defensive stop we get is another opportunity for us to score and build on that lead. So, I just learned that, as a team, we got to take pride on the defensive end.
Isaiah, you had obviously the 9 boards today. You were fighting physically for a lot of them too. Was there something different about your mentality coming into this game that created those opportunities?
Yeah, for sure. Coach Boyle said before the game, the guards got to come help the bigs rebound. They have some pretty big dudes, so I just went down there to help BD, Alone, Sebi, help rebound.
You had 9 rebounds, bro.
For Ian, career high, 17 points for you tonight. Just especially this past month, seems like you've taken a big step developmentally. Just what has kind of led to that, and how much confidence are you playing?
Ultimately, it's just sticking to my grind. I've always been a grinder on and off the court and stuff like that. And Tyson has helped me a lot and stuff like that, just getting extra reps and stuff like that. So just for me, it's always just been sticking to my grind, sticking to my mentality, and ultimately when my time comes, just producing.
On your 5th three, you guys hadn't made a field goal for quite a time at that point. What went through your head when that shot fell and you knew that you were giving your team some momentum and a little bit of breathing room?
Yeah, it was always good, to hit threes. That's what I kind of do. But ultimately, what's going through my mind is trying to get back on defense. They're in transition heavy on us and getting downhill and making buckets on us. So ultimately, I was getting back on defense, and I apologize for all the buckets they got on me. Sorry.
Isaiah, you guys had more turnovers than typical. That helped Kansas State stay in the game, allowed them to come back in both halves after you guys had big leads. I guess what was happening either with you guys in the ball protection or their defense that kind of led to that lofty turnover total?
Credit to them. They turned us over a few times, more than we would like. I just feel like we were a little bit careless with the ball, I would say at times, not taking our time driving and, making the right play. So I just think we were careless today.
Isaiah, you've had a bunch of high assist totals the last couple of weeks. Just kind of how has your playmaking evolved throughout the season as you've started to face different coverages from defenses?
I'm definitely a big part of the other team scout. I draw a lot of attention offensively, so, I just got to be able to make plays for my teammates so, we can win games.
Ian, Coach Boyle was praised your mindset the other day after the Oklahoma State game, just kind of being able to stay ready for your freshman season. Just kind of how have you kind of gone through this, not knowing kind of in a given game what your minutes load is going to be?
Like I said earlier, it's just always been sticking to my grind and stuff like that. Coach Boyle has helped me a lot. He's talked through me, just preaching that you're going to get in at some point. When your time comes, you ultimately got to produce. So shout out Coach Boyle, appreciate him.
For either of you guys, how close have you guys gotten as a freshman class? Obviously, 6 of you guys are playing tonight, and a lot of you guys are playing heavy minutes now, and obviously going through a grind in the Big 12 schedule. How much has that kind of brought you guys closer together and got you excited about what this group's potential can be going down the road here?
Yeah, definitely. We've been through a lot. We were kind of thrown in the fire early, some of us, and, some have came along like Ian. So, we've just grown together. We've experienced a lot. Being in tough road games and stuff like that is something that you can't really teach. You really have to experience it. So, we've grown together a lot.
Yeah, for me, it's just been ultimately like people like Isaiah and Josiah just ultimately always been in my ear and just saying, yo, you got this. And as a freshman class, I feel like we've drawn close together and stuff like that. And I really appreciate everybody.
For either of you guys, usually we see you on TikTok a decent amount. Any TikTok dance coming up after this one?
Yeah, we got y'all after this.
We got y'all.
Any last question? We good? Thanks, guys. All right.
Am I allowed to drink this?
Yeah.
That last game we played, I think Texas Tech, I went to get water out of the Gatorade thing, and there was a sign on it that said, for marketing purposes, and it was empty. So I figured I'd ask, because I don't want to pick up an empty one and look like a clown. Not all clowns wear makeup. And I got a high-definition face for radio, so.
Yeah, Coach, just those two massive droughts
without scoring there. It just seemed to do me in the end. Just what do you see in those droughts? The one in the first half, one in the second half.
You know, as the game went on and as those situations presented themselves, there was a time, I think they went up 22, 59-37, and the staff turned to me and said, call timeout. And I didn't. And to their credit, our guys responded. And even though they did whatever they did, it was 73-70 with 2 minutes to go. And the resiliency that these guys have shown over these 10 days, starting with Houston, because that's really where it started, in the way in which Coach presented what was transpiring as the genuine good human being that he is on Sunday when the transition took place, and then the way they reacted against Baylor, and then 13th Texas Tech on the road, and then coming to Colorado, who, by the way, they're a really, really good team. They play really, really well together. They just don't maybe have the experience yet and maybe have all the things that they need in place yet, but they're really, really good. I've admired them all year. 9 freshmen, a couple of them are redshirt, and then a couple sophomores, and then some older guys. But our guys were extremely resilient. They were tough. There was an 18-point lead. We were in the timeout, and I said, you don't want to hear this. However, this thing's about ready to get ugly because we haven't decided we're going to get one stop. And C.J. Jones said to me, Coach, we're turning this around. And I said, really, you think you are? I said, by the way, we just cut it to 7 with the ball to begin the half, and we let them get back up 18. Like, how? Like, that ain't happening. Like, this thing's about ready to get ugly. And C.J. said, no, he looked me right in the eye. I said, oh, is that right, C.J.? I said, so you think we're going to get stopped, so we're going to turn this around? And he said, Coach, I know we are. And I said, okay. And I got up and I left the huddle. And they did. They got stop after stop after stop. And then, you know, we got some really big minutes from certain people that, you know, Aaliyah's coming back from, you know, his injuries and stepping out on the floor, not playing for a month, and he buries a 3 to, you know, make his first play. And then the pocket pass to Taj for the reverse layup. And yeah, I could go on and on and on. You know, we turned them over 17 times, 5 of the first 5 minutes and 5 in the last 5 minutes of the first half. And I asked the guys, get it back to single digits, and they did. When we come out in the second half, we get a layup. So, like, this team's the best three-point shooting team in the history of the school, but we didn't make threes tonight. But it was 73-70, right? And I can't tell you there was, 4 maybe bad threes we took? All the rest of them were threes that we normally make. So I'm encouraged. It says in Thessalonians, it says, continue to encourage each other and build each other up, just as you're already doing. Because in Proverbs it says, where there is no vision, the people will perish. And our vision is very clear. And TCU is the next opponent on Saturday night.
How do you balance the feeling good about them coming back and being resilient, and then at the same time being a little disciplined and disappointment sometimes when it gets out of reach, but then you're able to come back? How do you manage that?
I'm not a moral victory guy. I've never been. I'm not a guy that's going to learn from losing. Like, I'm not into that stuff. I'm into learning. I'm into keep pouring into the cup because the cup's a little bit empty. But so whatever that transpires or however that transpires, then we're going to have to figure out what that looks like. You can't, in the last 2 minutes of the game, you can't get 3 shots blocked. Does that make sense? So we got to be better at playing off 2, getting fouled, getting to the free throw line, stopping the clock, being able to utilize those things. And so we talk about it, but again, we have to go out and then we have to be efficient and we have to, do it. And to our credit, to their credit, they blocked them. To our discredit, we didn't quite execute like we should have. So I don't know if disappointment is the word or frustration, but I do feel like we're right there. Like we are right there. And so TCU's next. That was a heck of a game up at their place.
The possessions late, those last 2 minutes, when you guys cut that lead to 3, just what you see over there not being...
I really thought PJ was going to get an and 1 on number 8. When he went down the lane, I thought he was going to play off 2 because he likes to block everything. And I thought he was going to let him jump and then get fouled because they were going to call the foul. And then he gets 2 free throws and we cut it to 1. Get a stop or a foul, maybe split him 2-point game. Taj had 1 at the rim, but he also had a kick out. 1 more pump and a pivot. Now he gets fouled. He's a good free throw shooter. And then PJ's last one, he had Andre in the corner for a drift 3. So, and I know a lot of people in your business, I know how this works, and no ifs, ands, and buts, we're candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, but I'm just telling you, because I know the game, and I respect the game. Those are the little things that we have to fix, and if we do, then we can see good things coming in our future.
I bring up the possessions, the 5-minute spurts without scoring to start. Just that's been a theme kind of throughout the season at times where you guys go cold there and don't get points. Is there a common theme throughout them that you see?
You know, if we were taking bad shots and the clock was going late and we were taking late clock shots or yada, 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 then I would say, yeah, there's a common theme. But we're running stuff and executing and ATOs and coming out of side OB and under OBs, and we're executing and you can only execute so much, and at the end of the day, right, players got to make plays. Because it's not about plays, it's about players. And so those droughts are those droughts. Besides calling timeout or fouling on purpose or doing something to get the clock stopped and maybe get a media, you get under media, so you foul on purpose so you can get to the media. So I can't put a finger on it and say, yeah, we should do this or do that. Like, we're running good stuff. We just got to execute the final part of it, which is making that basket.
Getting Elias back, +8 when he's in there, just what you see from him today. And
Elias,
yeah.
He looked no different than before he got hurt. Yeah, which is to his credit. And what's more impressive is he's turned 22 today. It's his birthday. And he never sulked. He never not coached. He was on the bench telling the guys, when I said about 18 and CJ said we're going to do this, Elias was like, hey, man, we're getting these. He hadn't played yet. So, to his credit, he came back just like he was when he left.
How is he? Just
great. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's fine. I could have put him back. I think I did put him back in.
Yes, I think he was +9. He came out +8 there.
Okay.
Good. Cool.
Anything else for the coach? Okay. Thank you, Coach.
By the way, you Colorado people, I was in this league before, and you guys ought to be really proud of what you guys have in front of you. And if you guys take advantage of it, and you guys pony up and do what you need to do to keep that core group together, like, you guys got a chance. You really do.
Hey everybody, we're here with head coach Tad Boyle. Coach, we'll start with the opening statement, we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, the epitome of winning ugly. You saw it tonight on display. Not too happy about it. And I told our guys in the locker room, it's my job to make sure we live in the truth, and I call it like I see it. And, I'll go back to the performance we had at Texas Tech where we laid an egg and got just blown out of the gym. Not happy with that performance, not about who we are, what this program's about. And, a game later we go to BYU and we compete our tails off. Just a totally different team. Same result, we lose. But just a totally different team in terms of our mentality and effort and attitude and concentration. And then, then we have a performance like we had tonight. And I feel tonight like I did after Texas Tech. So, look, we all know winning is important. I'm never going to shy away from that. We know that. But it's how you win. It's how you lose. It's the way you play the game, and that's what our players have to understand. And tonight we had some freshmen that played like freshmen, but the way I look at it is they're not freshmen anymore. The guys that are playing have played a lot of minutes. We had 4 games in Australia this summer, 10 practices this summer, plus the 85 or 90, whatever it is we've had so far. So our freshmen aren't freshmen. It's not. I'm not going to give them that excuse. We weren't mentally, emotionally ready to play tonight. And that's on me. And and I say that more so in the second half. I think the way we played in the first half. Again, we got up 19 again, and we just don't have that killer instinct that you got to have in this league to put people away. And so we still got a lot of room for improvement. There's no doubt about it.
Tad, you mentioned that these guys aren't really freshmen anymore at this point of the year with March kind of around the corner. And you mentioned kind of the lack of a killer instinct. It felt like you had a chance to really blow it open when you got up 22 there.
Yeah,
in the,
absolutely.
6-7 minutes into the second half, I don't remember exactly what it was. But is that kind of a learning experience for these guys that, hey, when you got to keep your foot on the gas against any team in the Big 12?
Absolutely, Tyler. But I thought we should have learned that against Oklahoma State, because that just happened on Saturday. So, you don't let the same thing happen again. And we talked about it at halftime. We let the same thing happen the way we finished that first half, and it's just unacceptable. And so yeah, it's that lack of killer instinct, and it's the thing that made me want to puke tonight is the way our guys kind of reacted to unforced errors. Like they felt like the world owed them something. They felt like, oh, woe is me. They started feeling sorry for themselves. And there's nothing that is just more sickening to my stomach than guys that feel sorry for themselves. Ain't nobody feeling sorry for them. Maybe mommy and daddy, grandma and grandpa, maybe their girlfriend, I don't know. But nobody else feeling sorry for them. I can promise you. Houston ain't feeling sorry for them. We play like we did tonight on Saturday. Whew, look out, baby. But I don't think we will. But it's an opportunity to learn, and I'd rather learn from a win than a loss. There's no doubt about it. But I'm not real happy with our performance tonight, especially in the second half.
Dad, Isaiah, when he was in here a few minutes ago, said you kind of challenged the guards to come down and help with the rebounding.
Yeah.
Obviously, Isaiah had what,
9 rebounds. He was fan. He did a good job the other day.
In there and really battled.
Yeah, he did, and he did that against Oklahoma State. He got a couple against Oklahoma State that were big-time rebounds at critical times. So, yeah, and we turned the ball over 17 times. 2 of them, we played 2 point guards a lot. Isaiah and Barrington are on the floor a lot. Got two really, really good point guards there. They had 2 of the 17. So it's not a point guard problem. And some of them were just unforced errors, which, again, I wasn't a tennis player, but I've watched enough tennis to know unforced errors will kill you in that game, and they'll kill you in basketball too, but we dodged a bullet tonight.
When it comes to the poor reactions, did you feel like it worsened at all with the stoppages of play and more time to just kind of...
Yeah, I hate replay. I hate it. It's just whatever. Just play the game. The game's played by humans. It's coached by humans. It's officiated by humans. I hate replay. Hate it. I hate the challenge rule. It's just our game has become so technology driven, and that's what's great about sports. Sports has nothing to do with technology. Play the damn game. Officiate the game. Bunch of hogwash.
I suppose it leads me to my question, which is most teams come here in the later parts of halves, they struggle because of the altitude and they get worn out a little bit. Do you think those stoppages of play were sort of what allowed Kansas State to have those resurgent?
It sure helps them. It sure helps them when you got 4 reviews for flagrant fouls, and then you got, we challenged one and lost it. Yeah, you got that. Plus you got 9 timeouts, media timeouts, 4 in the first half, 5 in the second. You got 4 timeouts from video reviews. What's that, 13? You got 3 timeouts by each team. That's 19? Who the hell wants to watch that? At home on TV, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're flipping the damn channel. We probably had some fans here tonight wishing they were home at flipping the channel because it's no fun to watch. It's no fun to coach. It's no fun to play. And we do lose our home court advantage, without a doubt.
Felt like throughout the game, whether it was you guys or them, someone was kind of always on an extended run at some point in the game. You guys obviously had the biggest one, was 17-0. But what does that do for your guys as a team, as you're either constantly in kind of a good flow or kind of fighting a bad flow?
Yeah, you know, basketball's a game of runs. We all know that, right? So but the good teams, you know, from a defensive standpoint, they stop the runs by getting stops. Like they had 10 possessions in the middle of that second half where they cut it down. 8 of the 10 they scored. We had 3 turnovers in a row during that stretch. So part of it was our offense. Part of it was those unforced errors. 17 turnovers against a team that does not press, they don't pressure. They switch a little bit, but their defense is nothing. They're giving up 84 points a game. You know, we don't shoot the ball like we're capable of in the second half. That's part of it, but you don't let a team score 8 out of 10 times. If you're a good defense, it just doesn't happen. We're a good defensive team at times. You look at the number, we hold them to 37%, pretty damn good, but we got to be more consistent, and that's one of the problems with this team as well, is our consistency. And look, every team's like that to some degree, at least the ones that are in the middle and the lower end of the league. Now, the ones that are at the top of the league, you know, they might have 1 or 2 bad games during a season, but their consistency doesn't waver or wane, offensively or defensively.
It's a good things in here to say about Ian just the other day, and
yeah,
him to come out and obviously have another, you know, really his biggest game so far. Now, what's it say about him that he's kind of bided his time this year to come through at this stage of the season?
Well, Pat, there's 2 kinds of shooters. There's shot takers and there's shot makers. We got 1 shot maker on our team. I take that back. We got 2. Barrington's shooting 50% from 3. We'll take that all. And Ian's the shot maker. We see that in practice every day. The rest of them, they're inconsistent, you know, and they're a lot of shot takers. But we got to. And I thought early in the season, Isaiah was a shot maker. He's missed some wide open looks. Again, freshman Wall, I don't know. You have to ask him. Kid's got a heart of a lion. I mean, he was big tonight. But Ian was terrific, and he made shots that kept us in the game. And that's what their kid, Kostick, that comes off the bench, you know. He's a shooter, and you saw that on display in the first half. Did a much better job on him in the second half, getting him off the line. But no, Ian's coming along. He's coming along.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, Tad, you mentioned closing the halves poorly and closing the first half, allowing K-State to narrow the lead to 5. But what was that locker room message like that sparked that 17-2 run early in that second half?
Yeah, I'm not sure my locker room messages mean a whole hell of a lot to this team, quite frankly. I'd like to think that they do, but then you know, sometimes you come out, we're really good out of halftime, and sometimes we come out and we start the game really well. Like, it's not about a coach in the locker room. I was stern with him. I was upset with him at halftime. I was even more so after the game. So I just keep going back to it's the way we play. It's the way we finish that half. We were up 19. We go up 9. Now, part of it was those 5 guys that were in there were exhausted. The officials didn't blow, and fatigue became part of it. But Kate and I subbed 5 guys in, so we should have been fresh. But those 5 guys that came in, it went from 19 to 15 because our guys that were so fatigued couldn't take care of the ball. It goes from 19 to 15. Then we got 5 fresh guys come in, and it goes from 15 to 9. A lot of guys had their opportunities. I look at that plus-minus column a lot, you know. And again, it's not the end-all, be-all, but it can tell you from a game standpoint, like who was effective when they were on the floor, getting their team involved. And that's we need more on-court leadership. And we definitely need it on the road. And we dodged a bullet tonight. So we'll take it and we'll move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.